This is going to sound really harsh, but I'm going to lay it straight because I believe laying it straight is the kind thing to do. It's not always nice, but it's the kind thing to do. 99% of teachers, tutors, reading solution programs out there are not designed for ADHD success. And this is why. I'm going to show you exactly why. Because when you are helping a kid with ADHD with learning to read, learning math, learning anything, a lot of times they want to jump right to level 4. Level 4. Level 4 is reading and learning success. So what this means is your teachers, your tutors who have big hearts, who are great, amazing people, but maybe who have not been trained. They maybe don't even know that when you jump right to level 4, your ADHD kids are not going to be ready to be successful. All the teaching you're going to do isn't going to stick because the bottom 3 layers are not being addressed. I want to change that. I want to change that for every ADHD child, every ADHD family. I hope every teacher can see this, every tutor can see this, and we can start doing better for these kids. My name is Megan. I have ADHD. My son has ADHD. I'm also a reading specialist and the CEO of Developing Readers Academy, where I am dedicating my life to helping ADHD and neurodivergent kids get the education they deserve. This is one way that I'm planning on doing this, is opening up people's eyes that we can't just jump right to the reading or the learning if we want our kids to be successful. It's kind of like you're trying to build a house and you're starting by painting the walls, but there's no walls up yet. You haven't laid the foundation. You don't have the beams up. You don't have the, I don't know that much about building houses, but you get what I'm saying. If you're starting with decorating the house, that's the last step. You got a whole bunch of steps to go before decorating the house is even going to work. So let's take a step back. Let's go jump back down to level 1. What is the first thing our ADHD kiddos need if we want them to learn successfully? They need safety and connection. There's a really sad study done that showed that kids with ADHD by the age of 10, I believe, get 20,000 more negative comments than their peers. 20,000 more. That's a lot of focus, sit down, be still, be quiet, stop it. Why are you doing that? Knock it off. All these things that are just chipping away at their self-identity. And now they're thinking, I'm not smart, I'm not good, I can't do this, all these really negative thoughts. For them to thrive with their education, they need to feel safe. They need to feel like, I'm okay. I'm okay here. This is a safe place. They need to feel like I am not alone. That the person sitting in front of them, beside them, supporting them, whether it's their teacher, their parent, their tutor, they truly understand them, and that there's going to be no shame involved in this process. So we need to remove the shame. We need to understand how they best function. They need a calm routine, something they can expect that is calm. And they need to know that mistakes are not a bad thing. In fact, they're a good thing. I like to call them, inside of our reading relief program, I call them pots of gold. Mistakes are pots of gold. We make them all the time. We learn from them, and then we know more than we did before. So they need to know that making mistakes, they're not going to get yelled at or punished. They're not going to get a bad grade because they make a mistake. They're doing the best they can. So before we can expect a child to read or learn successfully, we need to make sure they feel safe and they feel connected to the person that they're learning with. Okay, level 2, next up. This is a big guy for our ADHD folks. Managing emotions. Managing their focus. And managing their follow through. So kind of the fancy way, if you know a lot about ADHD, you probably know the words executive functioning. The executive functioning skills is what level 2 is. And that is their focus, their attention. Where's their attention going? Do they know how to regulate their attention? That's part of the challenge of having ADHD, is regulating your attention. So knowing how to help your child learn in a way that's not going to force them into sitting still and focusing for an hour straight. Instead, can we help them learn how they best learn? Taking short breaks every 5 minutes. Having tons of fidgets like I do. I have 6 fidgets in front of me right now. Depending on my mood, I constantly have to have fidgets. Knowing how to manage their emotions when they're starting to feel frustrated. Do they know what to do so that they don't flip their lid? So that they don't get so upset that they can't learn? Do they know deep breaths? Do they know mindfulness techniques? Follow through, finishing things can be tricky. Because I know for me, part of my ADHD is I don't start one thing at a time. I start 7 things at a time, and then none of them get done. So I've had to learn techniques to help me stay focused on the right thing and then move on to the next thing. It's not natural for me. It's not natural for a lot of ADHD folks to follow through with things. Honestly, we get our dopamine hit and then we're like, we're good. We don't need to finish. And that's a problem, right? So level 2 is supporting your child with their executive functioning skills. Inside of our reading relief program, this is where we help you with this because your child will need support. They will. They will not be able to do this on their own yet, but you can start laying the foundation and the frameworks that they are going to need the rest of their life because they're going to have ADHD the rest of their life. So by giving it to them now, teaching them about how they can manage their emotions, how they can better regulate their focus, how they can start tasks that maybe are boring. That's another one for us ADHDers. Starting tasks that we aren't in love with can be challenging, but we can help them. These are all skills we can help them build. Okay, so that's level 2, executive functioning, managing those things. So once they're feeling safe and connected to the person they're working with, once they're beginning to work on those skills, they don't have to have it perfect. I don't know if any of us will ever have it perfect, but they're starting to build those skills with their executive functioning skills. I said skills a lot there. Level 3 is another big one for us ADHDers. I'm going to get closer and then I'm going to zoom back. And that is dopamine, good old dopamine, and engagement pathways. Engagement pathways. Sorry if you cannot read this. I am doing my best here on this iPad. That's level 3. So the ADHD brain is naturally allergic to boring things or things that we find boring. We're naturally going to be like, no, I don't want to do that. So as the parent, as the teacher, the tutor, whatever, finding ways to bring in some novelty, finding ways to include things that they are interested in when maybe you're doing something that's not their preferred task is very important. Finding ways to give them those teeny tiny little dopamine hits throughout your learning time, very important. Inside of reading relief, one thing we do is we make very short lessons. They're around 10 minutes. You do them 3 times a week. And throughout it, there's jokes, there's movement breaks, there's really just silliness. I'm just going to say silliness. I transform into Miss Buddy, and Miss Buddy is this weirdo that does weird things that your kids are naturally going to be getting these little dopamine hits that's going to keep their eyeballs focusing in and learning because they're like, what's this crazy lady going to do? And then we offer different games, both hands-on games that you can go play and digital games that you can go play because gamifying things is a great way to engage your child and give them those little dopamine hits. So parents, teachers, tutors, before we can expect our kids to read and learn successfully, we need to figure out how can we help them feel safe and connected. How can we support them with managing their emotions, with managing their focus, their follow through, all those fun executive functioning things. Time blindness is another one. I know for me, I lose track of time. When I am interested in something, I could do it for 7 hours and I totally lose track of time. For kids, it might be like having to rush them out the door or your homework is due in 10 minutes. You got to get this done or whatever it is. So managing their time for them, supporting them with it, not doing it for them, but supporting them and training them and teaching them how they can do better with managing their time. That's level 2 is those executive functioning skills. Level 3 is helping them get those little dopamine hits, helping them get engaged in what they're doing. And once you have those in place, reading and learning, they absolutely can be successful. ADHD kids are some of our smartest kids out there. They're out of the box thinkers. There are kids that are going to come up with solutions that no one else is going to come up with. And that's incredible and amazing. But when we try to jump to level 4, like I said, 99% of things out there are doing that. They're just trying to go right for the reading stuff without addressing these things that they need first. We're missing out. We're missing out because now they're dysregulated. Now they don't feel safe and connected. Now they're giving up really quickly. Now they are just zoning off because this is so boring because no one has learned how to engage me in my learning. We're missing out on these kids. Now, if you need help with any of this, I would say especially with level 1, we have something called our Calm Connected Toolkit that is specifically designed for parents of ADHD kids, and it's giving you the tools and the exercises and the things you need to help your child feel more safe and connected during learning time. Step 1, they have to have this, or the other ones are going to be real hard. If you are looking for the full package, if you're like, you know what, I need support with all 4 of these, that is where our Reading Relief comes in. And I'm going to link both of these in the description so you can check them out. Reading Relief is the system in place that takes a child from really struggling with learning, melting down, saying terrible things about themselves, not trying their best because why should they if they don't think they can do it? Taking them from that to reading, writing, learning confidently, connecting with their families over learning, getting excited to go to school because they know they're crushing it, and ultimately living the life that they deserve because they can do anything. Because we're not just trying to address level 4, we're addressing all 4 levels in this system in a way where you as a parent get to be involved, where your kid gets respected for the brain that they have, where we're working with their brain, not against their brain, and we're giving them the tools and everything they need to crush it. If that sounds like, hey, that could be kind of cool, check out the description. Join it today. Because every day you wait, it's getting harder for your child. And every day you jump in and do this, you're making it easier for them. You're showing them how brilliant they are. You're repairing your relationship with them and their relationship with learning. All right, this is it for today. I trust this was helpful. No matter what, let's stop just jumping to level 4. Let's deal with these 3 levels that are so important for our ADHD kids in crushing it with their learning. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one.